of the day will be the famous Queen Quet, Chieftess of the Gullah Geechee Nation, came here from St. Helena. She has been a champion in the climate world for years and years and years. I've worked personally with her a lot, once to save a tree, the angel oak on Johns Island, and then to stop offshore drilling off our coast. So please give a round of applause to Queen Quet.
We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Well, how are the children to do today? I know I got some people out here who believe in freedom because hard as they do anything like that, we did right out here. To fight for disya thing, to stand, to rise together. We to rise for climate, for jobs, and for justice. During that time, when the children of yeddi, we to crack these words together in climate, jobs, and justice. Like on the children of yeddi, some people say got to have a job, so then they can't have a good climate. Well, then where you go work at? Anyway. So it's an interesting thing for me today to come here from what y'all call the low country, the Gullah Geechee Nation that goes from Jacksonville, North Carolina, all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, and I live here in South Kakalaki on an island called St. Helena. And it was interesting to me that I've gone all the way from St. Helena to the United Nations and various places and to different meetings, and next week, in fact, not next week, this time, on Monday, I'll be heading out to the other coast, the West Coast, for the Global Climate Action Summit. So yes, woo, is right. And so I'll be taking our energy and our story and our legacy from our state over there. Now what was interesting to me is coming back home from COP22 in Morocco, people were talking about the Paris Agreement, the Paris Climate Agreement. But how many people have ever read it? See? So my thing is, how do we fight for something and encourage others to fight for it when maybe they never read it either? And then, like they taught us in school, just because you read it doesn't mean you comprehend. And I think that a lot of our people in the legislatures that are not actually putting money in and legislation in to protecting our climate are not reading or they're not comprehending. So I want to just take a little break here and just regroup on why did we come out here on a hot Saturday with others that are going around throughout the U.S. and also meeting today to rise for climate, jobs, and justice. It's because we agree with the Paris Agreement when they say recognizing the need for an effective and progressive response to the urgent threat of climate change on the basis of the best available scientific knowledge. It's not skeptical science, it's scientific knowledge. I'm actually a scientist, all right? Most people think I'm a historian because they yeddi me to crack my teeth like this, they think I'm a performer. No, I'm a fighter. I am one who is here to activate people, to make sure they're part of that effective response. Recognizing the parties that may be affected not only by climate change, but also by the impacts of the measures taken in response to it. That's what we're all here to say. There need to be effective measures taken in response to climate change. We cannot just sit back and think the world's going to heal itself. The earth didn't damage itself. If we did the damage, we need to clean up the damage. And we're all responsible in this. And then emphasizing the intrinsic relationship that climate change actions, responses, and impacts have with equitable access to sustainable development and the eradication of poverty. These things are re-emphasized in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Many times we talk about issues, but we don't talk about the equity of those issues. We don't talk about every community getting the funding, getting the knowledge, getting the understanding, getting the expertise in those communities so that they can be part of the eradication of poverty. If we continue to let our environment be harmed, we have no food security. We have no food security, we can't eat. I don't don't think there's any greater poverty than a soul being impoverished. And I know the pastor just about preached on that earlier. And I had to say amen to what he had to say. So now here we are, that they also say recognizing the fundamental priority of safeguarding food security and ending hunger, and the particular vulnerabilities of food production systems to the adverse impacts of climate change. On St. Helena Island, my family and I still farm the same land on which my great-great-grandfather had been enslaved. We own that land. But have I witnessed a change in our ability to harvest on that land? Yes, I have. And when I went out saying to people there's something going wrong, because okra used to grow where I could stand up here and cut it, and it's growing where I got to bend my back now. Something is wrong. They were like, y'all, and this is a quote, emotional natives don't know what y'all talking about. So when someone said, yes, the indigenous people, Gullah Geechees are indigenous to the state of South Carolina, to these sea islands. We've seen what we're talking about. We live this. That's why we're on the front line. We're on the barrier islands, and we're helping to form a barrier against this rising tide of ignorance of thinking that climate change is not happening. Okay? So, here it is. As they said in the agreement, taking into account the imperatives of a just transition of the workforce and the creation of decent work and quality jobs in accordance with nationally defined development priorities. That's what we have to call for. We need to leave the state and get to the hill, the other hill up there, so that there are nationally defined priorities that are going to also have the people rising up to get good jobs. Then we'll start living in a more just society, acknowledging that climate change is a common concern of humankind. Parties should, when taking action to address climate change, respect, promote, and consider their respective obligations on human rights, the right to health, the right of indigenous peoples, local communities, migrants, children, persons with disabilities, and people in vulnerable situations, and the right to development as well as gender equality, empowerment of women, and intergenerational equity. But one thing I've learned as a black woman, as a Gullah Geechee woman and thing like that, as someone who speaks a different language, who lives in a rural area that is not a wealthy area, that equity is not always there. Your rights are not always there for you unless you take your rights in your own hands. Unless you stand up and hold on to those rights. No one's going to give them to you. You have to take them. And I'm sure you feel the same way, or you would not have taken out this Saturday to stand up here and rise up together. No matter where you fit in that category, or even if we didn't list your group, we know that all those groups make up humankind. And if we're going to be the kind of humans that truly live out the words that we say today, that we're rising up for climate, jobs, and justice, I say to all of you, it's our job to change the climate of this country to bring about justice. And yes, environmental injustice, inequity, and discrimination cannot remain the order of the day. The status quo must go if we truly believe that to change everything, we need everyone. And I believe, just like the other song we sang back in the 60s, I know the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. I know the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, For that one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Keep fighting, y'all. Hold on this young man. Hold on culture and tradition. And keep rising up. Peace and blessings.